Good afternoon. Hi, Brian Redfern with REMAX Prime. Sometimes when I'm sitting here in my office and I'm doing the behind the scenes work that we do as a listing agent, it is oftentimes easy to just get so engrossed and forget that you, as a sellers, don't necessarily get a glimpse into what we do when we actually are doing our admin time sitting down. As I look into the camera and see I need a haircut, what I'm going to do is try to focus on bringing you something of value today. So the first thing I'm going to do is a screen share here. I want to share with you a little bit of what we do when we're working on curating photos for your listing. I also want to address some of the things that you might want to consider as you are asking questions when you're interviewing a listing agent. There's a lot of things that are important for you to know as a member of the public. But a lot of times, as a member of the public, and even myself, when I'm working outside my own industry, don't necessarily always know what the questions are when I'm trying to qualify somebody who's going to work in my best interest. So let's start right here. Today, what I'm going to show you is a little bit about what happens behind the scenes in the MLS. So what I'm going to bring up is a current listing that I have. This is a listing that I have in North Phoenix up at 23913 North 23rd Way. I'm obviously here in my office at REMAX Prime at Tatum and Shea. And this is just one of the things I do, one of the many things I do when I'm sitting here working at the desk. So I am curating today a group of photos that were provided by a wonderful photographer from Listing House. That's Listing Haus. Luke Van Whye is the photographer and also a licensed real estate here in Arizona. And he's a good buddy of mine. He's a veteran and he does an exquisite job with photography. He's able to capture an image, uh, provide enough brightening in the room without losing and killing the energy of the space, the texture, and the colors that happen to be in the space, and does a really fine job of making sure that romance that does exist in a space is captured. So first thing I'm going to do is go into edit listing. I'm going to show you the photos. This is what we see in the background. So when we're putting together your listing, one of the questions you might want to ask your potential listing agent is what are their strategies when they're curating photos? It's more about curation these days than it is just getting a ton of photos on. What I'm going to show you here is the first five photos, one, two, three, four, five, and six, actually. First, I have a photo of the front of the house because this house elevates beautifully. We've taken some images from the home that were captured by Listing House, and for the first five images, I have curated them with virtual staging that I do. There's a specific style. I do a lot of work with specific brands, and knowing those brands and how to integrate the different collections is what helps my virtual staging stand out. So one of the questions you might want to ask your agent is, do they virtually stage? Well, a lot of people do now. Sometimes I outsource it. I send it out to a young man in Vietnam with a brief of how I want it done, and he nails it pretty much every time. But his turnaround time might be 72 hours. A little bit too long for me in some cases because a lot of times people want to get their listing up on the MLS, the multiple listing service, right away. So when you're qualifying your listing agent, ask them who is it that does their virtual staging? Not all virtual staging is created equal. I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to increase this page if I can. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to go back. I'm going to go to the listing and I'm going to go to photos. You saw essentially where we place our photos in the MLS. We can go through and identify the individual photos and what they represent. This, of course, is the front of the house. This is the room as you walk in the front door. I brought together three different collections from three different major lifestyle brands that I really like a lot. And then I specified the type of artwork and accessories to go in the space. This image is meant to capture your attention. It's meant to capture the attention of people when they're out there on Zillow, Redfin, homes.com, all the big uh, publicly public forward real estate sites. Now, the MLS, of course, is a private organization that goes out to agents, and as agents, we identify the homes and send them out to you. So this is the front living room and dining room. This is a very standard floor plan, something we see out here in Arizona quite a bit. You walk into the entry and you have a big shared living dining space. This particular home here you can see has a butler's pantry, which is very nice. This is a two-story home. This goes into an eat-in kitchen, which we'll see shortly. This door here behind the cactus skeleton goes to the garage. This is your stairwell. This is a two-story home. So what I want to do is kind of romance the space. As we live in our homes, we don't always live in showrooms, do we? But we do want to be able to show as real estate agents what the house can be. We want to appeal to your how do I live in this house? It is sometimes difficult to get past how people live in their homes. And these people have kids and dogs, and they have a wonderful, comfortable, very, very clean home. What I want to do is have you look beyond that. I need you as a buyer to look at this and say, I could live there. Okay, so we do inspiration photos. That's what virtual staging is for. It's important for you as a member of the public to have that as one of your primary questions when you're considering a listing agent who to hire. Who does your staging? What do you know about it? How do you handle it? What's it going to cost me? I don't charge my clients for virtual staging. It comes out of my marketing budget, and it's time that I invest to make it happen. So I know the different types of this is a bamboo palm, so I add bamboo palms. This is a pot from Vietnam. I know how where all these things are sourced and how to identify them and how to get them curated to give you this kind of result. Here's another view of the same room, but looking back at the kitchen. These folks have an incredible kitchen. It's U-shaped with two entrances, one from the straight on as you walk in the house. You pass right by that primary living room and that formal dining space, and then there's also the butler pantry. So this shows some ideas of how to utilize the space. The kitchen is absolutely phenomenal. They have put in a wine fridge on the backside of this island. You have granite counter surfaces, staggered cabinet, spice finish on maple. Really beautiful, beautiful kitchen. And then I put in a backyard shot that was taken by Listing House. I wanted people to get a perspective of how shady it is, that natural grass does actually live in Arizona, and that this home has it available. There are pavers in the backyard. A lot of what we see in Arizona are all gravel. No real destination place and no real inspiration. These folks have done a good job with their plantings. They also have a citrus tree in the backyard and covered patio. This is a north-south facing home as well. So this shaded area is on the north side. Going into locations. So we want to identify a lot of times out here in Arizona, when people call me as buyers, they say, I want the Arizona adventure. I want a home that's in a subdivision that's close to services without being in the city. I want mountain views. I want those iconic sunsets. I'm going to be close to the desert. So this particular community up in the North Phoenix area is close to Desert Ridge, but just west of it. So what you can see are the mountain views, the iconic sunsets that we get. This home is located on a cul-de-sac. We have identified the address and which home it is in the photo. Ask your agent, your potential listing agent, when you put in an aerial photo, do you identify which home is mine? Because I've had photographers go out and actually photograph the wrong house. Sometimes I see that in other listings, but you've got to catch that. So part of my job as a listing agent, putting your information to sell your home into the MLS is to identify, is this actually the house that we're trying to sell? In this case, it is. This is a natural sunset. It is not virtually created. This was done by the photographer himself. The thing that he did do is that he was able to take this image and he was able to turn on or enhance some lighting on the outside of the house. So I'm telling a little bit of the story of the house. We've gotten by the primary virtual staging photos to get the best possible presentation out there for you as you're trying to sell the house. We've created a story. Now I'm going to tell you the story of the home. This home is a little over 3,000 square feet. It's on a cul-de-sac and it faces towards the cul-de-sac and also a green belt that is common area designed to capture water when we have these monsoon seasons. So it's surrounded by the considered spiritual um, mesquite trees and palo verdes that have been planted. Okay, that's the full front elevation. And let's go in and start taking a look at the house. Here's the front porch so you can get a view of what it is to maybe sit out there in the afternoons. As we walk in the front, I have virtually unstaged the house so we can see a clean, clear look at the house. There's carpet that's inset. There is a small detail here that wasn't captured by my virtual staging program, but it shows the formal living, pardon me, the formal living area, formal dining area, butler pantry, and its move into the kitchen, and then also the main walkway into the kitchen with the same image. This is the image you saw before in the first 5 photos. This is virtually staged. And then here is the photo of the house as it actually is. And here you can see right here, little cut here. I don't want to disrupt this family's life too much. They both work. One works from home. They have 3 wonderful dogs. By the way, the house does not smell like dog. This place is so well taken care of. And my job is to help them get their house sold with as little disruption as possible. Okay, so put that on your list of questions. How do you intend to market my home with the least amount of disruption as possible? So bear in mind also as a seller, however, that any obstacles that you place in the way of an agent or a potential home buyer wanting to see the house can inhibit your ability to get the right buyer. Out here in Arizona, a lot of times we have folks that are in just for the weekend or just for a couple of days, and especially right now through maybe the end of this month, possibly the end of April, we have a lot of people in town looking to buy properties. So keep malleable, be open-minded to showings, and just make sure your place is showroom clean, showroom ready all the time even though you live in it. You can tell these folks have character. They live in their home. It's a beautiful home, beautifully maintained. In fact, it looks like brand new, customized with paints and other features that they've added in. Moving on to the eat-in, dining room, and the kitchen, and the family room, virtually unstaged again. I do not change the wall colors or the carpets, the floors, any of those details. I just remove the furniture. It is absolutely essential for me to you to not misrepresent your home. It's also unethical to do so. So I virtually unstaged so you can see this clean and clear, so you don't have to imagine it. It's right here in your mind. Those of you who are looking at hiring listing agents, ask your potential listing agent, how do you intend to present my home to make it easy as possible for a potential buyer to imagine themselves living there? Valid question. Okay, then I have the virtual staging photo. Very simple. Something I don't mind doing for buyers as well. If you're looking for a buyer's agent, ask your buyer's agent if they'd be willing to do things like this for you. Of course, we'd have to get permission from the listing agent on the home that you're considering purchasing, and we'd want to make sure that we have written permission through that agent from their client to take pictures. We want to be careful about people's privacy and be courteous. Ask, ask permission. Okay, here's how the room is as it's currently used and furnished. Very similar. We just changed up a few details. Okay, virtual staging did add a little bit of smoke and mirror here with some of the texturing and finishing. There's not much that I can do about that to prevent that. Now we go into another series. I've done a series of 3 photos, virtually unstaged, virtually staged, and then how the room is actually currently used. Okay, so you have this ability to see this huge U-shaped kitchen, the patio door that goes out to the covered patio. You can see the proximity of the trees and the greenery in the backyard. It's very appealing. Okay, here it is virtually staged once again, and here it is as you will see it when you enter the home. I am doing these 3 series photos on purpose. It's very, very on purpose. I want people to see the home empty, the room empty, again, to help it make it easier for a buyer to imagine themselves living there. Where will their furniture go without having to sort through everything that's already there? Second, of course, staged for inspiration. And then third, I want you to see what you're actually going to see when you go to the house. I don't want you to be surprised. Now, granted, you're not buying this table or this chair or these pieces of furniture, but sometimes for buyers, it's hard for them to get past that and just see the home. So the vacant photos, so you can see the home. The staged photos, so you can see the inspiration. You can see in this particular case, I do want to disclose my virtual staging program did add curtains, draperies in the room. They do not exist in this house. There are pardon me, horizontal blinds. Virtual staging did add in, we went ahead and added in a couple of pendant lights. Those are not part of the actual room. You can see there's potential for it. But here's your inspiration photo, and then moving on into how the room actually is. Actually, there are curtains on this window. And the current owners use this as a secondary office. The sitting room is a secondary office because that's what functions best for them. Okay, into the primary bedroom. This has a separate soaking tub, a separate shower. You can see the huge walk-in closet. It has a private water closet right here. This home was built by D.R. Horton, and it's about 3,200 square feet. And this one's listed for, I think, $18,000 less than the current new model version of it. So it's a good value. Now I've taken the clear photo and I virtually staged it with a very spa-like environment. Very easy to achieve this. They added some curtains here. I added some towels and different things, and we kind of played around in the closet to curate the overall look. Orchids always look beautiful in a spa bedroom, master bedroom, primary bedroom. Now, the thing is, we all live in our homes, right? So this is how the home is going to present when people go there, so they're not going to be surprised. Okay, and then I start telling the story from front door. This is actually from the kitchen looking towards the front door, looking into the primary living space. Through the butler's pantry, there's also a walk-in pantry here. And this huge kitchen. Here you can see the wine cooler, all the appliances that they keep, and very orderly, very clean, beautiful home. Okay, looking back at the U-shaped kitchen, you can also peer through the arched doorway and see the butler's pantry. Okay, and more views of the kitchen. I believe that the standard is 40% of people that make a purchase are basing it on the kitchen. Why don't we do this? It's always a good idea, and maybe you should do this too when you're preparing to sell your home. Hey Siri, what percentage of buyers attribute the quality of kitchen as their number one feature when considering to buy a home?
Do you want me to use Chat GPT to answer that?
Sure. Working with Chat GPT now.
While specific percentages of buyers who consider kitchen quality as their top feature are scarce, studies indicate that kitchen features significantly influence home purchase decisions. For instance, a 2024 NAHB study found that 80% of
80% of
buyers
buyers,
rated a walk-in pantry and
we
table
have it.
space for eating as essential
We
or
have that.
desirable, and 78% rated a double
We have
kitchen
that.
sink similarly. Additionally, a 2024 Redfin survey revealed that 54% of luxury homebuyers would be unlikely to make an offer on a home with an outdated kitchen.
Exactly. So it's very important to showcase a kitchen when you've got a great kitchen. And so that's what I've done. I've made sure to showcase this kitchen. The last thing that people want to do is invest money in a kitchen remodel when they buy a home. This is a beautiful, actually, this looks more like cherry. So I think this is a spice finish on cherry and not on maple. So beautiful. Okay. So this is what I think about when I curate these photos. Luke Van Whye, who's the owner and photographer for Listing House, has done a great job of capturing these angles. That's very important. When you are hiring somebody to handle your listing, ask them, what is your marketing budget? I have a marketing budget that's typically between $1,500 and $3,000. It depends on the individual home and what's needed. A good chunk of money goes right into photography. And in this case, that was the case. This is a big home and it needed to tell a big story. So here we go. We can see some more. So I'm just telling the story. Here's your downstairs half bath. Now we're going to show you here's laundry room and exit to a three-car tandem garage, switchback staircase on the interior coat closet. We're going to go upstairs. Okay, I want you to see. As you get upstairs, I want to showcase this family room. It's a loft. It could be converted to a fifth bedroom upstairs. You'd have to do a little bit of interesting construction. Probably put a small wall here, create a closet inside here, and have a small hallway with another bedroom door here or over here. Well, now I'm getting into more information than you want to hear. Um, the double door entry into the master bedroom, the primary bedroom. We want to see how that flows. Okay, you're in the room now. You can see this is a very, very large primary bedroom. And not only is the bedroom large, but you have this wonderful, huge adjacent space. It's important to be able to showcase that. So, again, and then looking back again, ask your listing agent, how are you going to tell the story with photos? Do you know that most listing agents don't even show up for photo day? Do you know that most agents don't even communicate with the photographer to identify what shots we want? Now, in this case, I wasn't able to be there at this photo shoot, but I have everything in the good hands of Luke. Luke has a designer's eye. I knew he would understand me, and I know since he knows me, he knows I'm going to be incredibly critical about this stuff. I was at a convention in LA, pardon me, in Las Vegas for REMAX International. I was unable to be there, but we communicated by phone and text. Another perspective, you got to tell the story. Standing back in this corner, you can see the proximity in the adjacent sitting room. You can see right into the family rooms. You can get an orientation. You want to be able to feel this. Understand a lot of people are still buying homes from way out of the state, out of the country, in some cases. Double primary, pardon me, double barn doors going into the primary bath. This is a dual sink, dual vanity. You saw the staged version of it, huge walk-in closet. And so we just continue to tell that story. There's a soaking tub. Okay, this is a second bedroom. It's also used as a home office and a guest bedroom. This is one of the teenagers' rooms. Yeah, two kids here. Okay, this is their shared bathroom. This is the other kid's bathroom or bedroom. Four bedrooms upstairs, and then the laundry room, and here's the garage. So essentially, what I've done is told the story. And don't be afraid to ask questions like this of your listing agent. How are they going to do it? What's the quality of their photographer? How much money are you going to spend on my marketing? When is that money spent? How do you curate the photos? How do you handle the virtual staging? What if the house needs physical staging? I do that too. Do all agents do that? No. The staging that I do, I don't charge my clients for. However, if I don't have enough product to put into a house, then we have to go to a professional staging company. I basically coordinate it, and there would be a fee for that in that case. But these are just some of the things I wanted to share with you folks as members of the public on kind of how to approach selling your house. You're hiring somebody who's going to be handling multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in most cases. You want to know how they're going to handle it. It's not always a sharp suit and a sharp, witty tongue. Sometimes it's the chubby, over middle-aged guy who needs a haircut. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you got something out of this. If you have, drop a comment in the box. If you or someone you know is needing information to help them with their real estate issue, with their real estate problem, either buying or selling, have them reach out to me. If even if it's not in Arizona, I also work in central Mexico through the state of Jalisco and all across the valley. I don't always take every project. It depends on where it's located. And if I can't help you, I'm going to make sure I get you connected with a fantastic agent who will. Okay. It's called collaboration. I enjoy doing that in my marketplace. Um, Folks, thank you for joining me. You can find me at REMAX Prime in Paradise Valley, Arizona. My phone number 619-403-0390. I want to thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions. Until then, I will see you soon.